The whispers of unknown. The wind howled across the barren landscape of Kepler 452 bits, its harsh breath carrying particles of rust-colored dust that danced against the transparent research dome. Inside, Zara Revenshaw adjusted her protective gear, her fingers tracing the delicate lines of the artifact she had carefully extracted from the planet's deep archaeological site. At 16, Zara was unlike most teenagers. While her peers back on Earth discussed social media and entertainment, she dreamed of uncovering the mysteries of distant worlds. Her parents, both renowned xenorchaeologists, had instilled in her a passion for exploration that burned brighter than any star. The artifact was unlike anything the research team had ever encountered. Its surface seemed to shimmer with an internal light, defying the conventional understanding of material science. Geometric patterns etched into its crystalline structure suggested a level of technological sophistication that was centuries, perhaps millennia, beyond human capabilities. Dr. Calloway, Zara called to her mentor, her voice steady, but tinged with excitement. You need to see this. Dr. Helena Calloway approached, her weathered hands adjusting the magnification lens. Her eyes, sharp despite years of squinting into microscopes and scanning alien terrains, widened with a mixture of wonder and apprehension. Fascinating, she murmured, her breath creating a momentary fog on her protective visor. These energy signatures, they're not just random. There's a pattern here, almost like a language. The research outpost hummed with quiet anticipation. 12 specialists from various disciplines have been stationed here for the past 18 months, meticulously documenting every grain of soil, every rock formation, every microscopic trace of potential life. But this artifact was different. From the moment Zara had carefully excavated it from a deep geological layer, something felt unusual. The crystal seemed to pulse with a rhythm that felt almost organic, defying the cold, mechanical expectations of scientific instrumentation. Commander Marcus Holloway, the mission's security lead, approached with measured steps. His military background made him naturally cautious, always scanning for potential threats in this unknown environment. "What are we looking at?" he asked, his voice a deep rumble that seemed to resonate with the artifact's own subtle vibrations. Before anyone could respond, the artifact suddenly emitted a soft, almost musical tone. The research team froze. Instruments began to fluctuate, their readings dancing wildly across multiple screens. Zara felt something strange, a connection. As if the artifact was trying to communicate, not through sound or light, but through something far more fundamental, something that resonated deep within her core. "It's responding," she whispered, her hand instinctively moving closer to the crystal. "To me." Dr. Calloway stepped back, her professional composure momentarily shaken. "Zara, don't." But it was too late. The moment Zara's fingers brushed the artifact's surface, a wave of energy erupted. Not destructive, but transformative. Images flooded her mind. Landscapes of impossible geometry, civilizations that seemed to exist between moments, technologies that defied linear understanding. The research team watched in stunned silence as Zara's eyes shifted, momentarily reflecting an iridescent light that seemed to come from within the artifact itself. Something had awakened, something ancient, something that had been waiting, perhaps for millennia, for exactly this moment. And Zara Revenshaw was at the center of it all. Resonance of forgotten memories. The aftermath of Zara's encounter with the artifact transformed the research outpost into a nexus of controlled chaos. Scientific protocols gave way to unprecedented observations, with every instrument and expert struggling to comprehend the inexplicable event. Commander Ellicor arrived 3 standard solar cycles after the initial incident, a veteran navigator with the Interstellar Exploration Consortium. He carried with him an air of measured intensity that seemed to challenge the very uncertainty surrounding Zara's mysterious connection to the artifact. "Tell me everything," Ellicor demanded, his piercing gray eyes scanning the research logs and preliminary analysis reports. Dr. Calloway presented the data with clinical precision. The artifact demonstrates quantum entanglement properties that defy our current understanding of physics. When Zara touched it, the crystal's molecular structure underwent a transformation we cannot yet explain. Zara sat quietly in the observation chamber, her presence both the center of attention and somehow disconnected from the scientific debate swirling around her. Strange sensations continued to pulse through her consciousness, fragments of memories that weren't her own, glimpses of civilizations that existed beyond human comprehension. "I can hear them," she whispered, more to herself than to anyone else. Voices, not words. Exactly. Something deeper. Commander Elikor approached her, his military training battling against his growing curiosity. "What do you mean by voices?" Zara struggled to articulate the experience. "It's like echoes of something ancient. Memories that don't belong to me, but are somehow connected. They speak in frequencies, in patterns of energy rather than language." The research team exchanged worried glances. Synapsychological interactions were theoretical at best, but this was something entirely different. Zara wasn't just interpreting an alien artifact. She seemed to be becoming a conduit for something far more complex. Sophisticated scanning equipment revealed extraordinary changes in Zara's neurological patterns. Synaptic connections were forming at rates previously considered impossible, creating neural pathways that seemed to mirror the crystalline structure of the artifact. Dr. Calloway's analysis revealed something even more startling. "The artifact isn't just responding to Zara," she explained, her voice trembling with scientific excitement. "It's adapting to her. The molecular resonance suggests a form of symbiotic communication we've never encountered." Commander Elikor's military instincts kicked in. "Is she a risk? Could this be some form of alien infiltration?" "No," Zara interrupted, her voice carrying an unexpected depth. "I'm not being invaded. I'm being invited." The artifact began to pulse more intensely, its internal light creating complex geometric patterns that seemed to dance in synchronization with Zara's breathing. Instruments recorded energy signatures that defied standard mathematical models, suggesting a form of communication that transcended traditional scientific understanding. Elikor watched closely, his decades of space exploration experience challenged by this unprecedented phenomenon. He had witnessed countless alien encounters, navigated through treacherous cosmic regions, but nothing prepared him for the subtle transformation occurring before his eyes. "What are they showing you?" he asked, his typically controlled voice revealing a hint of genuine curiosity. Zara's eyes shifted, reflecting an iridescent light, a warning, and an invitation. Something is coming, something that exists between the spaces we understand. The research outpost fell into a profound silence. The artifact continued to pulse, its energy now seemingly synchronized with Zara's own biorhythms. They were no longer separate entities, but part of a complex, evolving system that hinted at connections far beyond human comprehension. Something fundamental was changing, and Zara Revenshaw stood at the epicenter of a transformation that would challenge everything humanity thought it knew about consciousness, communication, and the very nature of existence. The universe, it seemed, was about to reveal its most profound secrets. Convergence of worlds. The Nordoran collective arrived without warning, their vast bioengineered vessel sliding into orbit around Kepler 452 bits like a living shadow. Unlike traditional spacecraft, their ship seemed to breathe, its metallic skin rippling with subtle organic movements that defied conventional engineering. Transmission protocols broke down almost immediately, where standard communication systems would typically struggle with interspecies dialogue. Zara found herself experiencing something unprecedented. The moment the Nordoran vessel established proximity, her consciousness expanded, bridging gaps that had previously seemed insurmountable. Dr. Calloway watched in stunned silence as Zara began to translate, her voice carrying undertones that seemed to resonate at frequencies beyond human hearing. "They're not here to communicate," Zara explained, her eyes reflecting a kaleidoscope of impossible colors. "They're here to verify." Commander Ellicor's hand instinctively moved to the communication console, years of military training preparing for potential conflict. "Verify what?" The artifact pulsed in response, its internal crystalline structure creating intricate light patterns that mapped themselves across the research station's holographic displays. Ellicor recognized something in those patterns, fragments of mathematical sequences that suggested a language far more complex than any human communication system. "The artifact is a key," Zora continued, her voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. "A diagnostic tool created by a civilization that existed long before our current understanding of time and space." The Nordoran representative materialized within the research station, not through traditional teleportation, but as a quantum projection that seemed to shimmer between states of existence. Humanoid in basic structure, but with skin that looked like living circuitry, the being moved with a fluidity that suggested multiple dimensional awareness. "We are the archivists," the projection communicated, its communication bypassing spoken language and directly interfacing with the minds present. "The vessel you have discovered is more than an artifact. It is a memory core." Dr. Calloway stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overwhelming her initial fear. "A memory core of what?" The Nordoran projection shifted, creating holographic representations that showed civilizations rising and falling, cosmic conflicts that spanned millennia, and technological progressions that made human achievements look like primitive scratches. "A warning system," the projection explained, "designed to identify potential guardians during periods of universal transition." Zara understood before anyone else. The artifact had chosen her, not randomly, but as a specific response to an impending cosmic event. Her unique neurological structure, combined with a genetic predisposition that even she was unaware of, made her a potential conduit for something far greater. Commander Ellicor recognized the strategic implications immediately. "What kind of transition are we talking about?" The Nordoran's response came not in words, but in a cascading series of visual and emotional impressions. Zara acted as the translator, her consciousness expanding to comprehend the complex communication. "A dimensional convergence," she explained, her voice carrying multiple harmonic tones. "Certain cosmic alignments create vulnerabilities, points where different reality structures can potentially intersect or collapse." The research station became a hub of intense activity. Human scientists and the Nordoran projection worked in a strange harmony, with Zora serving as the primary interface. The artifact continued to pulse, its internal structure now visibly changing, adapting to the evolving communication. "We do not seek conquest," the Nordoran projection clarified. "We seek preservation, the guardianship of potential." As if to emphasize the point, the artifact projected a series of potential future scenarios, some showing catastrophic dimensional collapse, others revealing moments of extraordinary cosmic harmony. Zara stood at the center, her consciousness expanding to comprehend the vast, intricate possibilities. Commander Ellicor whispered to Dr. Calloway, "Is she controlling this, or is it controlling her?" The scientist's response was simple and profound. "Perhaps neither. Perhaps they're becoming something entirely new." The universe, it seemed, was preparing for a transformation, and Zara Revenshaw was its unexpected conductor. The quantum threshold. The dimensional boundary began to fracture in ways no scientific model could predict. What had started as a subtle vibration within the research station now manifested as visible ripples in the fabric of reality, quantum threads unraveling and reconnecting with terrifying unpredictability. Zara stood at the epicenter, her consciousness expanding beyond physical limitations. The artifact had become more than just an object. It was now an extension of her being, a living conduit between multiple planes of existence. "It's accelerating," she announced, her voice carrying multiple harmonic frequencies. "The convergence point is approaching faster than we calculated." Commander Ellicor activated the station's emergency protocols, his military training kicking into overdrive. Quantum stabilization shields flickered to life, creating a temporary barrier against the dimensional instability. But even he knew these were mere stopgap measures against what was coming. Dr. Calloway's analysis revealed the true magnitude of the threat. The dimensional breach isn't just a potential event, she explained, her hands dancing across holographic interfaces. It's a systemic collapse of reality boundaries. We're talking about a complete reconfiguration of existential parameters. The Nordoran projection materialized, its form now less stable, flickering between multiple potential states. The guardianship protocol is activating, it communicated. Zara represents the bridge, the potential point of stabilization. Unexpected connections began to manifest. The artifact's energy began to synchronize with Zara's neural patterns, creating a feedback loop that defied conventional understanding. Memories that weren't her own flooded her consciousness, glimpses of civilizations that had risen and fallen across multiple dimensions, technological progressions that made human achievements look like primitive sketches. "I can see them," Zara whispered, her eyes reflecting landscapes of impossible geometry. The points of convergence, the moments where reality folds and unfolds. Commander Ellicor recognized the strategic implications. Can she stop it? The Nordoran projection's response was complex, communicated through a burst of emotional and visual impressions. Stopping is not the objective. Guiding is the purpose. The research station's quantum sensors went into overdrive. Dimensional fractals began to manifest, visible tears in the fabric of reality that showed glimpses of alternate existences. Entire ecosystems flickered in and out of perception. Civilizations rose and collapsed in moments that lasted both eternally and instantaneously. Zara's body began to change, not physically, but at a quantum level. Her cellular structure became more fluid, capable of processing information at speeds that would have been impossible moments before. The artifact merged with her consciousness, creating a hybrid state of being that was neither entirely human nor completely alien. "The threshold is opening," she announced, her voice carrying the weight of multiple realities. "And we are the key." Dr. Calloway watched in a mixture of scientific wonder and profound terror. The being before her was no longer just Zara. She had become a living quantum interface, a bridge between potential existences. The Nordoran projection offered a final piece of insight. Guardianship is not about prevention, it communicated. It's about navigation, guiding the convergence to minimize catastrophic potential. Dimensional waves crashed against the research station's protective barriers. Reality itself seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in impossible rhythms. Commander Ellicor prepared for the ultimate unknown, his decades of space exploration experience seeming suddenly inadequate. Zara raised her hand, the artifact's energy now completely synchronized with her being. "We're not stopping it," she said, her voice a symphony of possibilities. "We're translating it." The quantum threshold opened, a moment of absolute potential, where every possible outcome existed simultaneously. And Zara stood at its center, ready to navigate the impossible. Inheritance of infinite possibilities. The moment of convergence defied all previous understanding of reality. Zara became more than an observer. She was the living translation of dimensional potential, a bridge between countless existential planes that had previously been separated by impenetrable barriers. The research station transformed around her, its physical structure becoming fluid, adapting to the quantum fluctuations that coursed through every molecular point. Commander Ellicor watched in stunned silence as reality itself seemed to breathe, expand, and contract through Zara's emerging consciousness. "We're not just witnessing a phenomenon," Dr. Calloway whispered, her scientific detachment crumbling. "We're experiencing the birth of a new type of existence." The Nordoran projection began to dissolve, its purpose fulfilled. In its final moments of communication, it revealed the true nature of Zara's transformation. She wasn't just a guardian or a bridge. She was an evolutionary point of cosmic significance. Zara's consciousness expanded exponentially. Memories, experiences, and potential futures crashed through her mind like waves of infinite possibility. She could see the intricate threads connecting every potential reality. Civilizations that had risen and fallen, universes that had bloomed and collapsed, all existing simultaneously. "It's not about stopping the convergence," she explained, her voice resonating with multiple harmonic frequencies. "It's about understanding the flow of potential." The artifact, now completely merged with her being, pulsed with an energy that transcended traditional understanding. Quantum fractals danced around her, showing glimpses of realities that existed in perpetual state of becoming and unbecoming. Commander Ellicor recognized something profound happening. This wasn't just a scientific breakthrough. It was a fundamental reimagining of existence itself. Humanity's limited perception was being shattered, replaced by a consciousness that could navigate the very fabric of reality. "The boundaries are an illusion," Zara continued, her voice carrying the weight of infinite knowledge. "Every potential exists simultaneously. Our perception creates the limitation." The research station's quantum shields began to dissolve, no longer necessary. Reality had become fluid, adaptable, responsive to consciousness itself. Dr. Calloway watched as the physical environment around them became a living representation of infinite potential, surfaces shifting, colors bleeding into impossible spectrums. In that moment, Zara understood her true purpose. She wasn't just preventing a dimensional catastrophe. She was demonstrating humanity's potential to evolve beyond its current limitations. "We are not small," she proclaimed, her consciousness expanding beyond the physical constraints of the research station. "We are the universe experiencing itself." The final convergence happened not with a catastrophic explosion, but with a profound moment of understanding. Realities folded and unfolded, potential futures became visible, and the rigid boundaries of existence became permeable. Commander Ellicor approached Zora, recognizing that the being before him was no longer entirely human, yet carried the essence of human potential. "What happens now?" he asked. Zora's response was both simple and profound. "Now we explore. Now we understand." The artifact's energy began to stabilize, its purpose fulfilled. The dimensional tears began to heal, not through force, but through understanding. Zara had become the living embodiment of a new type of consciousness, a bridge between what was, what is, and what could be. As the research station returned to its physical form, the team realized they had witnessed something extraordinary. Humanity had taken its first steps toward understanding its true cosmic potential. The universe, it seemed, had just begun to reveal its most profound secrets.